corner. Coach, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us what you coach here at university?
Okay. Hello, Titan Nation. This is Coach Dina Pinson, and I coach the girls golf team at
All
university.
right. And how long have you been the golf coach here at university?
I just finished my second season coaching, and I'm very thankful we got to get our season in, so we're blessed about that.
Yeah, good thing it's a fall sport,
Yeah,
not a spring sport.
yeah,
Right, right.
exactly.
Um, and how many years total have you coached golf?
I have coached 2 years, so this was the start of my coaching career. But I've been playing golf for a very long time, so lots of player knowledge.
Right, and we'll actually get into that in a few minutes. But let's see. Do you have any other coaching experience from any sports?
No, I haven't really coached. My daughter was a competitive dancer, so I would kind of say I was her manager, not her dance instructor, but I would say I would personally like her parent coach, like any other parent. But that's
Okay,
pretty much it. No sports.
okay. Were you one of those crazy dance moms that we hear about that they make the TV shows about?
I would say I was that bad, but my daughter might tell a different story.
Okay. Maybe I'll set her up for interview later and see if you were one of those crazy moms.
Yeah, that's great. She's a dance instructor now, so she would probably enlighten you. So
Right, right. And where did you grow up?
I grew up. I was born in Kentucky, but my parents moved to Florida when I was in the fourth grade. So
Okay.
I grew up in DeBerry and went to all the schools: Enterprise, Deltona Junior High, and Deltona High School. So I'm a DeBerry resident.
Okay. And growing up, like before high school, what sports were you involved with before high school?
I remember in elementary school, I ran cross country. And then in middle school, I was very active. I was on the track team, I was on the tennis team, I was a cheerleader, and I played on the golf team. So I played in all the sports I could and did dance as well on as an extracurricular activity. So I was
Okay.
very active.
And then once you got to high school, what sports did you end up participating in?
I actually broke my hip running in relay in our county competition in middle school. So my hamstring pulled my hip bone away in the middle of the race. So I did hobble to finish, but I was off from running sports and dancing, and pretty much the doctors told me to pick a sport that didn't involve a lot of running. So that's how I began golfing, was chipping and putting, and my father was into it, obviously. So in high school, in the middle school, I had already become pretty competitive with golf on a my own path on the summers. So I took up golf serious because I had sights of getting a scholarship. So I pretty much concentrated solely on golf for sports.
Okay. And it, and you, in my opinion, had a local coach who is still local, who again, in my opinion, is who he's up there as far as a pretty big time coach locally. Do you care to mention his name? I don't know if he'll watch this or not. I know I'm Facebook friends with him, and you are too.
Yeah,
Who is that coach?
is that Coach Forrest Duncan?
Yes, it is. Yes.
Yeah,
How was that having Coach Duncan as a coach?
it was awesome. I loved Coach Duncan. I had my own personal, pretty intense personal instructing coach, but Coach Duncan always reinforced what I needed him to. But more importantly, he also kept me, because I was excelling in the sport, grounded and he was always positive, and he still reminded me to be the leader. Golf is a pretty individual sport, but our scores count individually and then the team total. So it is a pretty individual sport. He just reminded me I was pretty leadership involved in school anyway with student government and KIET. So I was well rounded with the social aspect as well, since golf was such an individual sport. But coach always kept me grounded. He was funny, and he had a pretty good swing. So he liked to get out there and swing with us too. So coach still has a good swing, but I can remember him giving me a ride home from practice one time, and I just remember it. We pulled in the driveway, and he's like, "You know what kind of plant that is?" And I'm like, "No, why do I even care what plant that is?" He's like, "That's a portocorpus." I got out of the car and I'm like, "Okay, and here I am today around plants with my career." So coach was
Right.
awesome. He was funny, he was competitive, and he kept me grounded, and he was always very supportive. So he's awesome.
He is. He definitely is. And go ahead and tell us how, as an individual golfer, how did you end up doing in golf during high school?
High school, I did well. Uh, I believe I got third at districts as a freshman. I really excelled later. I ended up winning the state championship as a junior, and then I think that record still holds as the last person, girl golfer from Volusia County, to win the state title. I also, the next year as a senior, I got third in the state, but I was the top senior my senior year. So I got to advance to the high school national championship that was in Massachusetts, which I ended up winning. So I had a pretty successful high school career, and it was fun. It's a different level. It's a bunch of matches, but it was fun. I had a great time, and a lot of the people that I played with across the state, I'm still friends with, or I ended up playing on the college team with. So it was a great time.
Right, right. And where did you end up going and playing collegiately at?
I ended up playing at the University of Florida. Go Gators!
Go
And
Gators.
I did. I ended up getting a full scholarship. I was looking at agriculture schools. So Auburn and Ohio State and Kentucky were on my list because I knew I wanted to study agriculture. So UF1, it was
Yep.
close to home.
Yeah. And how did you end up doing there, competitively speaking?
I had a great college career. I ended up being co SEC Freshman of the Year, and I ended up being a two-time honorable mention All-American. And I won three individual titles, and I'd say my biggest accomplishment was winning the SEC championship as an individual and a team in 1995. So that's my big hoorah.
Right, right. And if I remember correctly, you got to do something pretty cool with your team this year too, right? Your high school team.
Yes, we ended up going to regionals and got to go to Gainesville to compete, which was my old stomping grounds. And that was a pleasure showing them, where I grew up the latter part of my life playing, and fortunate a lot of my teammates loved the Gators. And I also got to invite some of my teammates into the F Club this year at a game where I was able to show them where letter winners go during the football game to hang out and have drinks and snacks, and just so they can see a little bit of history and previous players from all sports. And they really liked that. So I was glad to share that with them.
And did they get to see your name still up on the wall and everything?
They did. They loved it. They were thankful. They were they always tell me I'm something special, but I tell them they are. So we love each other. So it was cool.
That's got to be cool as a coach and as them as an athlete to just share that moment together for sure.
Yes.
Which kind of leads me into my next two questions.
Oh,
As an athlete, what's a moment or two that really sticks in your head as an athlete that just you'll take with you to the grave as a moment that you'll always remember, whether it's in high school or college or just anywhere, that'll stick with you forever.
I have a couple. I did get to travel to Japan with and represent the United States. They picked 4 collegiate players, and I was blessed to be one of them. So I got to represent the United States against the Japan friendship matches, and I'll never forget that experience going to Tokyo and playing, and I ended up being the highest finisher for the United States. So I'll take that
Wow.
memory with me forever, representing the United States and being in another country. And just the cultural differences, and even on the golf course, they had escalators way back in the 90s to speed up play because land is so valuable. So just a lot of great experiences by traveling, uh, going to Mexico, but that Japan experience was something that people don't get to experience. I'll never forget it. So
Right. Yeah, that's awesome.
that was an
I hadn't
honor.
heard that story before. Yeah.
Yeah, I dug that one up from the cobwebs, but it's there all the time. I just forget to tell it.
Right, right. And then as a coach, even though, like you said, you're very young as a coach. Do you have any memories yet that you think are going to stick with you?
As a coach,
Yes.
yes, I was coming out the first year and ended up being voted as coach of the year my first year. That's pretty special, especially as a coach. It's a little different. I learned a lot from the first year to the second year. You kind of learn as you go, because being so competitive as a player, you have to adjust your mindset and mold them that it's not just about winning. I'm very competitive, but I've learned to, not everybody's the same. Not everybody is going to practice the same. Not everybody's going to have the same goals. It's not just about winning. A lot of these kids are wanting to participate and learn and have fun. And I learned, that to mold that each player differently based on their goals, and as a team, of course, we want to succeed, but sometimes it's not always about winning. So
Right. Right.
yeah, so that the great memory of, we did so well. We only had one loss on matches out of 2 years. So I started off with a bang. I got blessed with players that have been on the team for 4 years. My seniors, I love them. Shout out to my seniors. So they made the first 2 years awesome. Now coach gets to grind and recruit and start her team from the ground up. So I'm looking
Right.
forward to it.
Well, good. Yeah. Um, let's see. And I know that you mentioned that while you were in high school, how you were a part of other clubs. I think you said SGA and Kietz, which honestly, I don't even know if Kietz exists anymore. But
Either.
um, do and this isn't a question you had a chance to prepare for. It wasn't on the list. But do you feel that those service clubs and those school clubs, do you feel that they were a big part of developing you as a person and helping you succeed in life?
No, yes, absolutely. Leadership is important. I was president each year and then ended up being school president. So it was very important to me to be involved in leadership. I had probably some of the most spirit, if the not the most spirit of that school. I was even the Wolfie a few games and the mascot. That's a tough job. Little kids pulling on your tail and stuff. But when they knew that the wolf was a little bit shorter and they didn't hear my loud mouth screaming at the game, they figured it was me. But leadership is huge. It did help. Being well-rounded and learning how to balance your time and being involved. And because golf was so individual, I think being involved as a team and doing community activities and projects together, that helps team building skills and leadership. So it's very important, and colleges are looking for well-rounded people. So it's important to add that into your curriculum at school. So
Okay.
yeah.
So you would definitely recommend students, whether you're athletes or not, for
Yes.
students to get involved with those clubs. And even if you're not looking to go to college, just get involved to form those relationships and just to get out of your comfort zone a little bit to
Yeah.
help develop yourself.
Yes, it helps you. We're so back in that day, we didn't have cell phones. So I think there was beepers back then. I didn't have one, but uh,
Right.
we social engagement, that's how you got to see your friends being in these clubs. So that was huge. We didn't have our phones. We had activities and we couldn't wait to be a part of our we had huge school spirit. It's very important even with business. I'm a business owner as well, so I've learned so much more just being a business owner, and that those have helped me become who I am by being able to talk to people and being able to solve problems with these clubs and learning how to talk in front of people and making decisions with other people. It's important, and even if you're not going to college, in life it's important to learn how to communicate, and especially this day and time when we're all stuck, communicating just on social media. It's not the same. It's very important to have human association, like being able not to talk just on the phone, but I know right now in our circumstances we have to talk from afar. But when things are calming down, I'd say get involved in anything you can that involves you meet new people and learn new friendships, and it could lead to another contact that could get you a job or help you somebody. It's networking, and you have to learn to do that this day and time. Sometimes it's not what you know, it's the connections you make. So it's very important to learn how to communicate with people.
Right, no doubt. And it's my understanding that that's kind of how we ended up with you as our coach. I mean, you
Exactly.
you yeah, I mean, you were the golf coach before I was the athletic director, but you knew our booster club president, which knew our former athletic director, and we needed a golf coach, and conversations ended up, and now here we are, and you're the golf coach, and like you said, nominated golf coach of the year, and here we are with just we got Dina Pinson as the
Yes.
golf coach. So
Yes,
yay
thank
for
you, Coach
us.
Eggert. Yeah, Coach Eggert thought of me immediately after Mr. Roshink, went to district job. Um, the girls love Coach Roshink. He's been very helpful transitioning with me and answering questions. But Coach Eggert, I actually knew from a dance, my daughter's dance. She was friends with the next door neighbor, and that's how I met Coach Eggert, was through my daughter's dance friend. So I
Okay.
actually met her that way, and of course she was a competitive college athlete, and we
Right.
talk and get to know each other. And she called me up and said, "Guess what? The golf position's open." I said, "I'm in if they'll have
Great.
me."
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm glad she made that phone call, no doubt. No
Yeah.
doubt. Um, and what is one thing that you hope that your athletes get from a Coach Penson coached team?
My girls know that when I do something, it's with my whole heart, my whole compassion. I hope that if you are playing under Coach Penson, that you leave having the greatest warmth experience, not just with golf, but in life. I want to teach these girls how to be gracious, humble, but fierce competitors. So if they come and you coach for me, you're going to be leaving laughing. My girls think I'm a little cuckoo bird sometimes. I like to sing, and they know what I'm going to wear. It's going to be Titan colors at an award banquet all the time. They said, let me just look for the orange dress because they know I'm going to be wearing those colors. So when I do something, I bleed those colors. So not everyone's like that, but when my girls are a part of my team, they leave smiling and happy, and I want them to learn a life leadership, um, and do everything with passion. Try 100%, and you have to learn how to also handle losing. So I teach them it's okay. You have to learn from adversity, and you have to rise up, and that makes you better the next time. And you always need to, win graciously. And my girls are leaders and examples of the core things that I hope people come away with when they've been on my team.
And what is something you would like to say to your athletes or the parents or whoever might watch this in this unique time that we're in right now?
I say I would like the parents are amazing. My parents were very supportive. I couldn't have gotten to where I was with golf without my parents. I would like to just encouragement, even parents. It's a hard time, but if you can think that every step is a blessing and that every step you take is a signature of yourself, and we don't know what's promised tomorrow. So if you can leave this world leaving your footsteps and make it a signature of who you are, even if it's at home, teaching your values to your children, and the kids are around their families now and learning these value times, just in everything you do in life, make your step every moment your values of what you want. Be humble, be gracious. Times are going to get better. Take this and make yourself better. And when you get to step out and be around your friends, be gracious, humble, work hard. And not everything's about winning, but it's about leaving a good footstep and signature of who you are in this world.
All right. And here's a question that wasn't on my original list that I sent out to you guys. So I don't know if you've seen this one yet. But if you could have dinner with any four people, dead or alive, who would they be and why?
Oh, let's see. I let's see. Four people. That's a lot. I didn't even get to
It
think about
is.
it. um, I would. I miss Payne Stewart. He was one of my favorite athletes. I got to get pictures with him, and he's not here anymore. That terrible. He's a great Orlando golfer. If people don't know who Payne Stewart is, but he had great values in our Orlando community and was just a passionate golfer. I love Payne Stewart. I would love to have see him again. Also, I these are all my golf people. I love Nancy Lopez. She was one of my all-time female, obviously, uh, female golfers. She's just a classy lady, very gracious and feminine, and I just love her. I would love to meet one of my idols. I would also, I miss my granny. I would like to have dinner with my granny. She always told me I should have been a dancer. Uh, I have flat feet and bulky stature, but she loved that I danced, and I did do a lot of competitive dance as well. But I miss my granny. I'd like to have dinner with her as well. And the fourth person, uh, let's see. This is hard. Anybody, huh?
Yep. Anybody.
Uh, I would say it's Well, my fourth person's waiting for me on my next life. So, if you know who I mean,
Okay.
I'm very spiritual, so I'll be having dinner with him one day anyway.
All right. And you're not the first coach that's mentioned him either. So, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Coach, you got anything else that I didn't ask and we didn't talk about that you wanted
Well,
to?
I would like to say I am recruiting from our players for this coming year, and golf is a great sport for business, for the rest of your life. You can play it. It is a sport. A lot of people don't think golf's a sport. I've played many, and it's the hardest sport I've played. It takes a lot of energy to focus. For 9 holes is 2.5 hours walking, and so it is a sport. It is physical with muscles and core, and it's a great skill to have at any time in your life. It's a huge business asset. So I would encourage parents that are seeing this to encourage if they've never played, I don't care. I'm a great teacher. I want girls to come out and join my team because I'm going to need them. So I'd like to say that.
And like you said, it's a lifelong sport. It's a lifelong hobby. It's a lifelong stress reliever or stress builder, depending on who you
Yes,
are.
yes,
Um,
yes. And even
but
during this quarantine time, you can play golf away from people. I would really encourage uh, parents to if they're shy, there's no need to be shy with Coach Dina. I'm here to help and teach new skills, and winning's a bonus. Of course, we want to win, but learning a new skill and something that can help you for the rest of your life, and you can enjoy it. Uh, Come on out and join the girls golf team next year.
there you go. So anybody at university or that will be a freshman at university next year, if you don't know what the details are, you can find Coach Pinson's email on our website. Shoot her an email, and because it's golf season actually starts was it July 27th, so that's like a week or two before the school year starts. But it's if you have an interest in it, shoot her an email and she'll tell you everything you need to know.
Yes,
So,
and I
yeah,
go Titans, follow the creed.
there you go. Follow the creed. Well, thank you, Coach. I'm going to stop this recording now.
All right, thank you.